When you talk about the history of this small town and you tie in the families and the places, I think people feel as if it's touched them and they come away with a better understanding of the town where they live.
Denton has a wonderful 1896 courthouse. It's a gorgeous building. And we have a lot of things around the square that range from the 1920s to the 1970s. So we embrace all of that. That's what makes us us. The Denton Main Street program is a very collaborative program. We do partner with the Chamber of Commerce, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the universities, the county, the city. The city has a wonderful grant program for downtown businesses to help redevelop and reuse the buildings down here so that we can save our history.
I do think Jupiter House is the capital of Denton. I've always said that. If you hung out here all day, you will see everybody from, our mayor over there to students to, at the end of the day, you'll see musicians, people having meetings. It's a great meeting place here. So we've just really tried to not mess anything up pretty much. I think that a lot of times you can get, big ideas are great, but in this space, I was just trying to preserve it. I did flooring, electrical updates, some things like that, colors. I hired a local sign painter to do a lot of the old signage. If you'll notice, like the Jupiter House sign in the front window, that's a 100-year-old gold leaf technique. And he still does it the way that his dad taught him how to do it. In the last few years, it's been one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and somehow it's still been able to just retain that soul, that identity, that old town Texas feel to it.
Historic preservation in a city that's as old as Denton, we're over 150 years old, is really one of the core elements that gives you a sense of place. A vibrant downtown is essential for the economic prosperity of the entire city. And preserving that uniqueness is a difficult thing, but it is worth doing. And we've done that extremely well in Denton. I'm very proud of that element of our city. We have survived in Denton over the past couple of decades and succeeded in a really wonderful way because of the partnerships we've developed. And a lot of that has to do with the city government looking for those partnerships and developing them.
We've been involved with the Heritage Trails program since it kind of refound its feet, 18 probably years ago now. And Denton has been a leader in the Texas Lakes Trail, one of the 10 heritage trails that are in Texas now. And in the Texas Lakes Trail region, we really focus on partnerships and on connectivity from community to community. In Denton County alone, there are over 350 horse farms, more than 25,000 horses of every breed and every discipline.
This is Karina.
Hi, Karina. The North Texas Horse Country Tour is a behind-the-scenes experience for visitors. It allows them to see what the equine industry is about and to view different horses and different breeds and disciplines at every ranch. And we're now hosting 50+ motor coach tours a year of people from all over the world that come in here just to see what's going on in Denton. Why is this so different? And it is. Sometimes people end up buying a horse, sometimes people end up touching a horse for the very first time. It runs the gamut. And it's all because of people looking to experience a heritage, a culture, a something completely outside themselves, and it grows everybody.
Our state government had the foresight to understand that our small communities were dying. Our downtown areas were dying. And they had the forethought to put some money aside to restore these old courthouses. Once we did the restoration, I believe that was the key to the revitalization of Denton, downtown Denton. It was huge for us because we created a showplace with the state's help, and that triggered businesses wanting to come to Denton and open up downtown.
I feel very privileged to be able to office in this wonderful building and to hold court in the Commissioner's courtroom. The old courthouse in the square is just really a focal point for the city of Denton. This last restoration, the majority of it was done on the outside of the building. A lot of the mortar between those big blocks had disintegrated, so it had to be repaired. And of course the stone steps leading into the building, that had to be repaired. We had French drains that had to be put in because we had water in the basement. We had a new roof that needed to go on the building. And the new flooring on each level, all 3 levels of the old courthouse, that needed to be replaced. But everybody's real glad to be here, glad we did it.
Visitors are most fascinated with this building itself, our 1896 courthouse. The Denton County Museums have so many outreach programs that we're proud of. Probably our most popular and impactful program is our taking exhibits out to the different schools in the county. We have a group of about 50 volunteers, and many of them travel to the schools, and we acquaint them with early farming and ranching implements. We give them ideas about how people had to cook. We have tours not only for school children, but for many adult groups in the courtroom. And we have traveling exhibits that are all over the county in other county facilities. We have this wonderful historical park, which right now consists of an 1890s Victorian house and a house that was originally in an African American community called Quakertown.
The house had 3 rooms, 2 bedrooms, and the kitchen. There was no bathroom, no free running water. This was the 2nd bedroom. This actually, we slept here with Mamie. And this is where we slept. I think about the 3 rooms that 5 of us stayed in, and I look at the progress that has been made since then.
This house tells a story for me because my family was involved. We have pictures in here of my grandparents and my father and his brother when they were little. This house was moved from over there at Quakertown.
Quakertown was a black community. Then the city fathers decided that the black neighborhood was a threat to TWU. And they got together and decided that they would move them out of that area and make a city park from it. And that's why blacks were moved.
Texas Women's University was over there. They had to come through Quakertown to get to the square. And they didn't like that because that was a girls' college. They had to give up everything. They had stores, they had pharmacies, they had doctors, and they ended up moving them out. They didn't have no choice, they had to go.
You know, it's up to us, the older ones, to tell the story of what happened and what we know and what we gleaned from our parents and other people here. The story needs to be told.
Denton County has a lot of iron and steel bridges. They provided transportation to markets for this rural area that was mostly farming. The bridge was built in 1884. And they had built it thinking it would revive Old Alton, or Alton as it was called at that point, the Alton community, but it really did not. There were originally identified 17 historic bridges, and most of them now that are left really were located in the northern part of the county. And as TxDOT came in and declared these bridges unsafe, the Denton County Commissioner's Court began to explore ideas and what to do with these bridges. So they began an adoption program where the towns in the county could reach out and get a bridge for their new parks they were building or new trails they were building, somehow that people could still enjoy and appreciate the history that was so important to this county.
I brought you here to the Firemen's Museum, which was begun by the firemen themselves, because fires shaped early Denton. Between 1860 and 1895, there were 14 major fires just on our downtown square. These men were heroes. In 25 years of storytelling, I've learned that if I can capture an audience's attention, they'll listen to anything. So I can tell them a 4-minute, very chilling ghost tale, and they'll listen to 10 minutes of history. And then they go away entertained, and yet they've learned something without even knowing that it happened.
We're sitting in the campus theater, and the campus theater is a good example of how restoration works for everybody. It took involvement from the city, it took involvement from citizens who cared. The campus was one of at least a dozen Art Deco theaters that were built in the North Texas area by a really fine businessman named Carl Obazal. And this was right after World War II in the late 40s. When we decided to do something about this place and started raising money, all the stuff you're not supposed to be able to solve was encompassed in one place here. And it was relatively new. Structurally, it was okay, but nothing else was. And so, primarily now driven by citizens, but always with the assistance, if not financially, emotionally, and with zoning and legally with the city of Denton's acquiescence. And it evolved. It took about a good solid 2 years to completely turn this thing around.
In Denton, we do preserve our buildings, we do reuse them, but we also are always striving to be better. We have a wide variety of architectural styles, from Morrison Milling at the edge of downtown, built in the 1800s. That's one of the iconic landmarks just off downtown. We also have a lot of residents downtown. We have over 1,000 people living within a 3-block radius of the courthouse on the square now. O'Neill Ford went to school in Denton and lived here for a while, so his handprint is all over town. He is our claim to fame as far as architecture goes. The City Hall, the library, the Civic Center, the little chapel in the woods at TWU are all O'Neill Ford buildings. We're very fortunate that the City of Denton is housed in one of these wonderful O'Neill Ford structures, and just walking into that building every day is just amazing.
We don't have faux anything in Denton. Everything is the real thing. I guess you could call it the ultimate recycling. So when people come into our downtown and into the heart of original Denton, it's all still there. And all this cool stuff is evolving from what's been here for 150 years.